Hey, what is up guys, Marcy here, back to do another video, and today I've got a game on a map we haven't seen in quite a long time. This is Alpine Forest. It was a map created by Predator all the way back in 2014, I believe. It could have been even earlier than that, but yeah, this map hasn't been played much, and it does offer some unique gameplay. The terrain is certainly unique on it, and there is a contested field in the middle that both players will fight over. Now, I'm going to be playing as ZOCOM in this game, so they're not going to have the greatest capability to contest a field in the middle. They don't have juggernauts or behemoths, but what they do have is an exceptional air force, and they specialize in infantry-based tactics. They have cheap armory upgrades, that Tiberium field suit upgrade, so you can position your forces in a Tiberium field and not take any Tiberium exposure damage. Is that going to be useful contesting a field? Possibly, but at that point in time, your opponent is most likely got anti-infantry upgrades like AP ammo, supercharged particle beam, shredder turrets, but in this case I'm versus a Scrin faction, so really the only anti-infantry unit I have to be concerned of is the Devastator warship in the late game. Now, they can face their gunwalkers too. That is one of the best counters to infantry in the game. But there is a way to combat that, and that is, instead of investing into missile squads and riflemen, you go into zone raiders or zone troopers if you're playing GDI. Those cannot be crushed by phased gunwalkers, so that has a distinct advantage versus Scrin. It's not always one size fits all, not always the missile squad is the best answer. The zone raider has certain perks that it can provide to you as the player that the missile squad cannot, like for instance stealth detection for killing stealth tanks. That is only possible with the zone trooper and zone raider. Zone raiders, by the way, if you didn't know, have a little more speed compared to the zone troopers. They're a little bit faster, which is a little odd. The discrepancy is a little bit less in this patch. Has been the case for a number of years. But in this game, not much is happening. We're just ecoing up in this particular match. This was one of the final games I played on this night. I played a 4-hour session versus Bart Jones. Posted a number of my games in stream on Twitch. I'm going to have a bunch of videos like this to come. I'm also going to conjure up some new content ideas as well to keep you guys entertained. Had a show match versus Rex the other day. That series will be casted, I hope, by Cybert. I sent him the replays. I'm going to avoid posting that series on my channel as much as I'd like to commentate over the games and give you my insight into my point of view. Tell me guys if you'd like to see that. I could definitely do a voiceover of a series I played versus Rex. It was a best of 9, and I thought it was a stellar show match. But at the same time, I don't want to spoil the outcome for Cybert's eventual video of it. So I'm going to go and send this APC to the spike. I'm going to capture this over. He's already captured it, so I'm not going to get that $500 deposit like he did earlier on. I don't think it's possible actually to make it so each player gets the $500 deposit when they capture it back. It's tricky in modding. Not everything is easy. Gunwalker's out now. I built a pitbull just so I can detect and kill assimilators. I'm also auto-rallying APCs to the blue Tiberium field in the top, just so I can deter any harvesters there. While without AP ammo, they don't have much DPS to kill harvesters, I can drive in front of his harvesters and place the mines down, and that will do considerable damage to the harvesters. So I see here a simulator that was built because I captured back that Tiberium spike. And I'm going to get hit in my base by a bunch of gunwalkers. Those aren't too concerning. They don't have much DPS. If it were Seekers, sure, this would be a threat. My harvesters would be in danger. And I'm just making use of this force of units in his base, keeping him busy for as long as possible. Looks like my crane will go down. but not before I drop the War Factory. I'm going to go for a second War Factory in this game. I'm going to queue Predator tanks, APCs, ZOCOM Orcas, and perhaps a Shatterer or two. Great unit versus Scrin. Protects your force against Mechapedes. It is the best counter in the game to that unit. And Mechapedes are no joke in this patch. Tier 3 is now up for me. I don't have a crane, nor do I have a second MCV. I'm not going for Sonic Emitter spam. Instead, I'm opting for a Marv here. I've also built a combat support airfield. These are cheap and effective. It's a good idea to reposition your aircraft whenever you can. If your opponent has scouted your airfield, it's most likely going to get targeted by your opponent at a later point in the match. So it's a good strategy, I feel, to build these combat support airfields and reposition your aircraft, just so you don't get it camped or destroyed. My ZOCOM Orcas fly in. I take a swipe at the harvesters. Sadly, though, I was unable to get any, but I forced the use of the phase field, so that harvester there cannot... He cannot use the phase field anymore. But by the way, the harvesters can continue to harvest whilst it is phased. Drone ship now taking damage. Those Mechapedes going for my Orcas. Of course, that area was revealed earlier. And I made a misclick and I forgot to reassign those ZOCOM Orcas to my combat support airfield. So even though I built the combat support airfield, I forgot to change the airfield assigned to those ZOCOM Orcas. I'm summoning in the sniper teams here just so I can kill that mastermind. It's an expensive counter, but since my MCV is now deployed at the green field and I was afraid he'd run in for my Reclamator hub, I summon in those sniper teams just for good measure. It's going to allow me to kill that mastermind and prevent it from capturing any of my units. And Mechapedes being a real nuisance, dealing with that airfield there. And I've got a Marv out. I've also secured that bottom spike, so I do have a minor spike lead at the moment, but he has been harvesting the blue Tiberium. I have not contested that. So while I control the middle field, he has been taking the blue Tib. And that mastermind is history. It is gone. Completely taken out there. I'm spamming sniper teams to put in my Marv as well, because a common strategy for Scrin is to teleport in a tripod with their mastermind to close range EMP your epic unit. I'm going to anticipate that and put a sniper in my Marv. Shock troopers are also a common transition for Scrin, especially if they feel you don't have enough anti-infantry. ZOCOM do have plenty anti-infantry. They have commandos, hammerheads, AP ammo. The only thing they lack really are those juggernauts to kill your opponent from afar. But that can be accomplished with firehawks. If you go for them, you can bomb the Scrin player and take out units such as these Devastators. But since I had already anticipated the Devastators, I upgraded tungsten shells and I'm able to take out that dev ship promptly. Hexapod now is there to meet the Marv. I'm building these zone raiders, but the Hex has a Ravager garrison inside of it, so that's going to be quite a problem for me to deal with. Commando jumps forward, tries to get the kill on the drone platform. Drone platform does lift up, however, and the stasis shield gets cast on the Marv. And I'm in some trouble because there are some tripods reinforcing. My force of units is getting taken out in the top of the map. And these Mechapedes, I have no answer to them. There's no sonic emitter queue just yet. The tripods close in on the Marv. And now I'm going to lose this Marv here. There's just nothing I can do. Another commando comes out. But this Hexapod, with that Ravager garrison, is going to prevent these zone raiders from doing any damage. Even though I've upgraded the zone raiders with power packs and scanner packs, this Hex, along with the Devastators, is going to make this transition worthless. So that Marv got taken out. I did force the use of the stasis shield. The Scrin players obviously have access to many support powers, and I'm in a dire situation with only a handful of zone raiders left. There's not much I have left, but I do have a force still alive in his base. A couple predator tanks on low health will continue to do damage. I have an ion cannon control center, but that's 4 or 5 minutes away from being ready to fire. Those pred tanks are almost certainly going to be destroyed. There's only like 3 tanks left, so that's not going to do any damage. And now this Eradicator Hexbot is moving in, using the Ravager hardpoint to kite those Grenadiers. Some anti-aircraft coming down as well, because he doesn't know what I'm transitioning to. He may feel like I'm going to go back into aircraft because that's ZOCOM's strength, right? They're going to go for Firehawks or Zone Heads. But I deem it's not worth it on this type of map, because if you have to contest a map, then your opponent's obviously going to have shard launcher, plasma missile batteries deployed, and those have a lot of health, and it's impossible to engage with hammerhead. So I felt like it would have been a wasted investment going for that. Marv is now back out for me. Plus I have these Grenadier squads ready to EMP and force back this Eradicator. But again, I'm gonna lose my units due to the Ravager. Corrupt is healing this Hex. I'm moving in, trying to kill some Harvesters. Deny that eco. That Hexbot is also part of his eco. For every unit I lose, he'll get resources. And in an eco-stricken game like this, the Hexapod can make all the difference. Gravity Stabilizer is back up for presumably more Devastator warships. Those Mechapies have not yet been dealt with. I've got one of them to destroy. That's equipped with disc segments. Very good units, by the way, against hammerheads. Mastermind is now back out. And I was trying to repair this Marv, but my slingshot was prohibiting it from getting close to this war factory. So this Marv is struggling to get repairs. I think only now it starts to get some. But it is a quad zone raider Marv. This is an insanely powerful epic unit. Lots of damage. But the Hexpod still causing trouble. I do manage to get an EMP, so I'll be able to inflict some damage on this Hex. Will buy my slingshots time to move in and kill the lone Devastator warship. And the Hexpod, as you see, is already down to that half health, which will force the use of the face field support power Scrin. Always have one support power to save them. In this case, it is the face field. I'm going to jump jet this Zone Raider to the armory and replenish the squad. Only takes 1.5 seconds now. Originally it was 5 seconds. And due to how many simulators and masterminds this sniper team has killed, summoned in from the sharpshooter support power, it's close to going heroic. I think with one assimilator or 2 assimilators more, it will achieve that heroic rank. It's very possible, especially when stealthed. I can find another commando and maybe even one-shot it, considering the veterancy gives bonus damage. So I'm trying to find the perfect angle to engage this mastermind, even rotating my camera so I can see if I have line of sight, so I don't approach these buzzer hives too close. And I got the mastermind. Sniper not yet promoted. And my ion cannon super weapon is moments away from firing off. So despite me dealing with this army of tripods, Devastator warship and Hex, I'm going to have the ion cannon. And if I can hold on for less than a minute, I can fire the ion cannon relatively unopposed, because he has used his stasis shield. Now he may have his... He's used his face field, so he may have his stasis shield still ready to use. It could have cooled down by now. So I'm going to coordinate this attack and try and engage while using the ion cannon. Buzzer Swarm support power comes down. That can win Scrin players the game against Zone Raiders. In that case it didn't. I was able to jump jet away and avoid the majority of the damage. And I quickly used the ion cannon. I didn't want to spare a moment to waste, and he uses the phase. I keep confusing phase and stasis, but both of them keep Scrin units alive versus this. And in this case, yeah, he kept his tripods alive. The hexapod, however, does get teleported back. So all that did was kill the Devastator warship and force the use of the stasis shield, which could have been game ending for me if I had not built that super weapon. So I thought, hey, I need to engage right here and now. I cannot wait another 7 minutes. This Eradicator has no way to escape. He's used his support powers and it goes down, and the Marv will finish up shop. Devastator warship is now back up, but those tungsten slings will engage and destroy it. And that's going to be it. That is GG on Alpine Conflict, I think it's called, or Alpine Forest, one of the two. Nevertheless, I thought that was a pretty awesome game, showcasing a map that didn't involve Firehawk laming, which is a strategy you can also do against Scrins, though I don't like it because most players anticipate it, and it's sort of the meta, so your opponent will automatically assume that's coming. It has advantages not doing that, because your opponent is preemptively setting up a defense against Firehawks when you're not even constructing them. So that is going to be it for me. Hope you enjoyed the game, guys. If you did, then don't forget to hit the like button. I really appreciate that. And before I leave, I'd like to give a big thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting my channel, for supporting 1.02 plus R22, and for keeping this going. Really do appreciate the support, guys, and without it I would not have had the motivation to do what I've done over the past couple of years. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.